Welcome to The Hustle with Ben Anderson, highlighting a series of inspirational success stories with celebrities, entrepreneurs, athletes, and industry-leading professionals. Ben has learned and mastered the art of the hustle, which has allowed him to become a top 20 USA loan originator and the #1 mortgage and real estate finance coach in America, who has closed more than $3 billion in real estate finance transactions. So sit back, listen, and learn with the Loan King about money and mortgage.
Welcome to The Hustle with myself, your host, Ben Anderson. The Hustle comes to Manhattan today with a great friend and a legend in life, Mike Mumola.
Good morning.
My friend, it's been a great 3 months getting to know you. I feel like we're fast friends and been doing this for a long time. So
Likewise.
Your story is great. The first attorney. So the first attorney on The Hustle today. We're breaking ground in a whole new way.
Yeah, nice.
So trial attorney, which means that you have to have steel cojones to handle yourself in dire situations.
Yes.
And be able to really do big things for big people.
True story.
So trial attorney, entrepreneur, sitting on boards of Man Cave, new venture starting up like your media company with Dave Meltzer.
Media Abundance, yeah.
Media Abundance, and all those things. So you're a guy that has a lot of the right ingredients of what it takes to be balanced. You're also a coach, believe in a lot of meditation, spirituality, great mindset. But that's all the stuff that's easy to talk about. Let's go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
This show's called The Hustle, and I want to talk about yours, where it came from.
Sure.
Trenton, New Jersey.
Yes. Trenton, New Jersey.
Back in what year were you born?
1971. I was actually born in a small town outside of Trenton called Mount Holly. Things happened early on in my life. My father left and my mother had myself and my sister, so was forced to move back into Trenton when we were very, very young, and lived with family members to help raise us. So that's my hometown.
So talk about your upbringing and you had to grow up pretty fast because you didn't really have a father. I relate to that story very well myself. And what was your childhood like, and did that mold you into the person that you are today?
Yeah, for me, it absolutely did. Now in retrospect, for sure. But for me, it was normal in many ways. In some ways, though, I guess it wasn't. Because I didn't have anybody standing on the sidelines as a kid playing sports, or anybody to join us when we went on school trips and things. But it was a lot harder than that. I was, like I said, it was my mother and my sister, and my mother worked 2 or 3 jobs all the time to pay the bills and keep a roof over our head, and we didn't have anything. And so very often I was kind of I was the father figure. I was the man of the house, even though I might have been 5 years old. So I think, yes, it instilled a lot of who I am today in terms of having to meet with the demands of life head on, and be there for not only yourself, but for the people who rely on you or maybe can't help themselves. So, looking back, I think that helped develop a lot of who I am today, for sure.
So growing up in New Jersey and having a mom that worked 3 jobs?
Yeah, 2 and 3 at times, for sure.
We think we hustle now because we have ventures that we consult in or people we coach. But that's like your life on the line right there. Literally,
and that's when I never, people who know me and people who we know together, they'll say, you'll never see me complaining about having too much work or not enough time, because I know what it was like growing up. I remember waking up as a kid in the middle of the night when it's 2 or 3 in the morning and seeing her at the dining room table trying to look for jobs or opportunities. Back then we had the newspaper, right? We had classified ads.
Ad jobs and
that's after she had just finished 2 8-hour shifts or whatever. So for me, everything's an opportunity, and these are things we get to do, right? Like Dave Meltzer says, not things we have to do. So I'm happy to do it. And so, yeah, you're right. There's a different level of hustle that certain people bring to the table, for sure.
It wasn't like tired. What's tired? I got 2 kids that I got to put food on the table. If I need to work 7 jobs, I'll figure out a way to do that.
Yeah. And so, that was it, and that's a big part of who I am today. There's one specific moment that I remember for sure that really got my attention. I probably was about 6 years old. And I remember my mother had just done the lawn. She had mowed the lawn out back, and we had a small long, probably 14 to 16 feet wide by maybe 20 feet long. And she came in, and I was rubbing her hands, and she was really upset and sad and crying. I was rubbing her hands because they were sore. And the reason they were sore was because she cut the lawn with a pair of scissors. So, that's the level of what we're talking about. And for me, still to this day, when there are things, when you have to keep going, you have to keep pushing, I remember at that moment as a child saying, this will never happen to me or to the people that I love or care about, or anybody who's within my reaching, my distance and my ability to touch their lives. It's not going to happen to them. So that was a really powerful moment for me. And I live by that today.
I mean, think about it. In general, people don't understand what tough is.
Yeah.
They think tough is a bad day or getting cut off on, the interstate or getting laid off or getting rejected for a job interview. Tough is cutting the grass with scissors. I mean, who does that?
She did.
She did.
And you know what? Truth be told, a lot of people do, man. And there's so much toughness out there in the world that we don't hear about
Or recognize.
And man, I love the opportunities to go out there and find people like that and just try to help them.
I love it. I love being here. I love the city. I'm motivated and inspired. On an hour's sleep, and I feel like
You look great.
I feel well rested. Just the energy that we're getting in this podcast together.
Yeah,
so
cool.
And just hanging out with you is a lot of fun, just in general.
Likewise. Yeah.
So let's talk about the lessons you learned and how you started to realize that you could apply yourself and do things differently. Was it growing up? I know that you stopped playing baseball after that ball cracked your rib. And was it sports? Was it competition? Was it scholastics? I mean, where did you get your drive from?
Honestly, I don't know. It came from somewhere deep within inside of me, and it was just this passion to succeed and this passion to help. And it was just this burning desire that I still have today. I have to, looking back at the ideas and the feelings that I had back then, they obviously translate to me finding my way into law school, right? It's a career where you help people. That's what we do. And it wasn't easy. There were times, in my definitely early childhood, teenage years, adolescence, I didn't know I was going to end up in law school. I had this energy that I didn't really know how to contain, and I didn't have a father, so I was kind of out there trying to figure it out without any real role models. So it was difficult. Fortunately, I found it, or it found me, and then so now things are great. But there was just these values that I somehow began to develop in terms of love and kindness, respect, and the ability and opportunity to help people, and to develop relationships, right? And that's something that early on I really recognized was important to me, and that's something that's still very important to me today. So more so than anything else, I think that's what it is. And those relationships now, whether it's in sports or charity or my law firm or the other businesses, those are what I cherish most and what I try to focus on.
Talk about the journey through law school.
Yeah.
That's not an easy thing to do, especially in New York. State law in New York is much more brutal than it is in most other places.
Yeah, so I have now, I entered law school. Let me back up for a second. I didn't always know I would end up in law school. I was making pizza in Trenton, New Jersey, and some things started to happen in my life. I thought I'd own pizzerias, for the rest of my life. And maybe that's helping people, giving them food or giving them jobs. Something, but then something else, there was another calling for me, I guess, in the universe, and something happened, a few things happened that guided me into law school. And I think there was this, at one point when I was in high school, I wanted to go to Votech, and my mother said, I'll make you a deal. I'll let you go to Votech, because really I didn't want to stay in school all day. If you go to Votech, you get to go to class for a half a day, then you go to Votech the rest of the day, and you're kind of working, or you don't even go. She said, I'll make you a deal. You can go to Votech, but then you have to take 1 semester of college after high school. And I said, deal. So I graduated from high school, and I lived up to my end of the bargain. I went to college, community college, and I looked for what I thought would be the easiest course, which was acting for me. Like, just generally, I love talking to people, I love being in front of people, I love being on stage and performing, I guess. So I took an acting class, and I instantly fell in love with it. I ended up staying not for 1 semester, but for the entire, I made a 2-year program into a 4.5-year program. then some things that happened at that time during my life which told me there was more of an opportunity that I could not only hone these skills, but I could use them to build a powerful career where I'd be able to help people and simultaneously perform. That's how I ended up in law school. Going into law school, I was petrified. I came in, a lot of the people I went to law school with came from families who had mothers or fathers who were senators, or lawyers, or professors. I came from, a single mother home where nobody in I don't think anybody in my family at that time had even gone to college.
There's no bar that was even set.
No, it was just uncharted waters, and I'd gone in, I was petrified, and I said, there's no way I'm going to make it unless I really do this. And so I did it. In the first year, I was, I think, number 13 out of 285 kids, and I said, okay, I have it. I know that I have this, and that was it. Graduated, took the bar exam in New York and New Jersey, passed those, and worked here in Manhattan at a firm for a while, and decided I wanted to go back to New Jersey and help some of the people back there. Ended up opening my law firm there almost 18 years ago now, and we're we've been doing some great things for a lot of people there for a long time.
So talk about some of the experiences with your law practice. I'm sure it wasn't always easy. I mean, what is it like for an attorney when he's
grueling? It is grueling. I have so many young people come up to me and say, I want to be a lawyer. And I say, first thing I say is, why do you want to be a lawyer? Because that's important. If you're doing it,
the why.
Yeah, the why. So if you're doing it because you see on television that you're going to have a fancy car and a big house, that's the wrong reason, because you really put a lot into it. There's a lot on the line. Every business, all of the other businesses I'm involved in, all of the people who I know who own businesses, every business is stressful. The practice of law is extremely stressful in a different kind of way. Think of what's important to you and whatever crisis you may be in right now, and then multiply that by 100 or however many clients you have, right? And it's really difficult, so you have to be committed.
Right.
So that's what it's like, and like I said, being a trial lawyer, we have I have 8 other attorneys that work with or for me now, and we do a little bit of everything. It's a general practice firm so that we can help people in various aspects of their lives.
What's the biggest courtroom moment for you?
The biggest courtroom moment was a victory that I had. It was a jury trial in a personal injury case that I had tried for a Korean family who had been injured, and they didn't speak English, and I really thought that they were being beaten up, and I really thought they deserved some justice. And we'd gone to trial, and going into it, everybody told us we didn't have any shot, and not only did we have a shot, but we did very, very well. And so that was very special to me, because it showed me the compassion of human beings.
Sure.
My clients didn't speak English, but the jury still related to them. They could see that there was something deeper, there was something really powerful and genuine, and they rewarded us or awarded us for that. And so that was validation from other people, that there is something special that we can all relate to. We talk about this, this collective consciousness or this global consciousness. There's something that all of us recognize as right and just and how things should be in the universe.
And that's amazing. And now you're leading a whole team of attorneys. So
yeah,
you're able to give them advice from all your experiences, and you're never going to quit because your mom cut that grass when you were a kid.
Yeah, no, and from that's right. And I just love seeing the new attorneys come into my firm and just carving their path and doing new things, and my partners who are doing some tremendous things, and the opportunities that it affords all of us. I've had some great other opportunities as a result of the things that I've done and the things that I continue to do.
Let's talk about those, because you balance a lot.
Yeah.
You have a lot of people in your network. Everyone in the whole town. Any place this one wants to go to get a good bite to eat or get to a game or a dog or a slice, you're going to tell them where to go and who to talk to get that.
Yeah.
So that's just the guy you are. You are a connector of all things. You have your hands in a lot of businesses. First of all, before we talk about those, how do you do that? How do you manage being on the board of the Men's Health Man Cave, dealing with Dave and the media company, doing UFC and grappling and helping kids?
Yeah. So first, the most important thing is to find a work-life balance. And so once you do that, then you just start to prioritize and become, like Dave says, a student of your calendar. And I don't sleep that much. I sleep 4 to 5 hours a night. That's it. And I meditate twice a day, which I think helps give me the energy and the focus that I need to get through this. So the things that I'm involved in, those are my passions, and that's we all decide how we want to spend our time.
Sure.
And it could be watching television, it could be doing whatever you like. This is what I like. I love connecting people. I love bringing opportunities to the table by introducing one person or one company to the other. And so, yes, so that's what I've been doing. How do you do that? It takes work, it takes dedication, and it takes passion. And so you have to do it, and you have to do it on a consistent basis and in a way that really brings value to whoever you're interacting with.
So let's talk about what you're doing that's bringing value. Let's talk about, first of all, an attorney by day, and maybe not by night, but by fun, you're rolling around with UFC fighters.
Yeah.
So how does someone go from being in the courtroom to being on the grappling mat?
Out of necessity. So
That's so true.
So I hit this point in my life. I was about a 40-year-old attorney, and I would look in the mirror and say, this isn't who I want to be exactly. I need to change things. My wife is a physical therapist. I'd always been involved in combat sports, whether it's karate, kung fu, boxing, or something. I knew I wanted to do something. I did not have any experience with jiu-jitsu, and I wanted to learn about it. I just happened to live near one of the best coaches in the entire world. His name is Ricardo Almeida. And Ricardo is a former UFC legend. He's a UFC Hall of Famer. And he is now the trainer and coach of guys like Frankie Edgar, who's actually fighting this month again for the title, right? Frankie Edgar, Eddie Alvarez, Marlon Moraes, Edson Barbosa, Corey Anderson, Timur, Caitlin Chugagian. Big list. The stable of talent near me just made it impossible not to go there and learn from these guys. Yeah. But what I also wanted to say was, some of the attorneys that I know make a decision to go to lunch, and that's how they spend their time. I'll sneak out for an hour and I'll go roll around on the mat. So
it's kind
that's
of like
my
your
balance.
vice, huh? Keeps you sane, balanced, healthy, happy.
When somebody's trying to choke you out, you are not thinking about anything back at the office or
That's
anything
so
about
true.
anything else. You're focused on that. So if you think about mindfulness and the importance of being here now completely, that's the textbook
You have to be
definition.
there.
You're there, it's a complete distraction, and for me, it is one of the best forms of physical, mental, and emotional therapy.
So has that balance, that extra vice, made a big difference in
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think, for me, knowing the way that my makeup, it's critical to do something with something physical. Like I said, I do a lot of meditation and mindfulness work. That's mental and emotional, but I need that physical because, like I said, being an attorney is extremely stressful. Our bodies, we release cortisol, and different things happen in our bodies to deal with the stress. You need to release that, right? Because it finds a way out.
Right.
And if you don't find a healthy way to release or deal with or balance that energy, then it may come out in a not so healthy way. And we see and that's another thing that I deal with a lot of attorneys. They see how I live my life, and they'll call me or they'll send me a text saying, hey man, I'm having problems, whether it's whatever it is, drugs, alcohol, marital problems or something. Because of the choices I made, I think I've gotten to a point now where people trust that I'm doing the right thing, and maybe I could just light the way for other people.
Yeah, and people all need balance and they need advice, and you have a lot of balance. And one of the biggest talents I see in you is your ability just to be relational with people and be in the moment and be present and have someone trust you. That's a talent. It leads to lots of business ventures that have opened up.
Yeah.
So tell us about some of the funnest things you're working on right now.
Top of the list is a company called Media Abundance, an abundance of media, combination of the two words. It's with one of my favorite people in the world, a guy by the name of David Meltzer, former CEO of Lee Steinberg Sports, and now CEO of Sports One Marketing. And so Dave and I have been doing some things. Dave really introduced me to the concept of meaningful mentorship, right? That everybody should have a mentor, and Dave is one of my mentors now for years. And I should have recognized it sooner, because especially with the fighters and all of the guys that I know and talk to and interact with, they'll tell you that the most important part of that equation is the coach. When you go back to the corner, you need a good coach to tell you what's really going on.
That's right.
And so when Dave said to me, everybody should have at least 3, that resonated, and he's number 1 for me. That ultimately now is manifested into this company, Media Abundance, which you'll be hearing a lot more about over the next 6 months.
So generally, what is we understand the media, so what is the abundance? How is the abundance media coming together?
Yeah, so think of it as a business development house. So it's everything that Sports One Marketing is. It's essentially an extension of Sports One Marketing, not limited to sports. So Dave's presence and reach and bandwidth has grown so much over the years, not just geographically from the West Coast to the East Coast, but comprehensively in terms of what he's doing and how he's changing people and businesses, that he knew that there was a much bigger plan for him. So he tapped myself and another guy, David Moreno, also an attorney, and asked us to come on board and build this with him. And so I'm extremely excited about that.
Nothing wrong with having an attorney as your business partner, making sure everything's eyes are dotted.
3 of us, 3 lawyers. Dave. One of my favorite things that Dave says is that he's a recovering lawyer, right? So he was an attorney, and he went on to do some other things. It's funny. So that's their Media Abundance, super exciting. One of the other things that I'm really excited about is a company that we brought on through Media Abundance. It's called MOTI, M-O-T-I, stands for Money on Time Instantly. It is a video chat platform with built-in financing capabilities and budgeting. So the reason that I found that so exciting, and I still do, and the reason we're on as partners and I'm their legal consultant, is because, for example, as an attorney, one of the things that's still a bit antiquated, that's still a bit clunky, is the hourly billing for attorneys, and quite frankly, any hourly professional.
Right.
So if you charge X dollars an hour for your services, you provide the service, you have to send the bill, client reviews the bill, sends it back, you approve. By the time that whole thing happens, 30 to 45 days. We have the video chat app where it's real time, great technology. You can see, I know what your hourly rate is. It's right there on the screen. The clock starts to run. Bank account, credit card, debit card, all connected. So when we hang up, my payment goes directly to you, no questions asked.
Full transparency.
Complete transparency, no ability for the professional to pad the bill, no questions with it getting lost somewhere in bookkeeping, so you don't get paid. Cool. Really amazing.
Because you get, we all had attorneys, and we all know that it's not cheap to get an attorney.
Yeah.
You just don't know. Like, am I paying the right price? Am I getting stiffed?
Now you know.
Was I charged for that extra envelope that they licked?
That's right. And now you know. For any phone call, real time right there, and you have the ability to record the call. So, very often when you speak to the attorney over the phone, you may be on the fly. That's right. And you get back to the house and your wife says, "What did he say?" or "What did she say?" And say, "I think this and that," but it's confusing very often. Now you can show them the video or send it to them.
Very cool.
There's real money transfers, real-time money, so like a Venmo app in there where if we have NYU and Harvard that have expressed serious interest in it, so son or daughter need money from dad while they're on the phone, and hey dad, I need $100 for the books, you can immediately drop it. So that's exciting. So those are a couple of the things.
So how soon is that to come to market?
It's live.
Is it live?
You can go to iTunes now and get the MOTI app. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Great accomplishment. You're doing a lot of great stuff. But it's because you're just positive and your energy is great. So talk about your mindset, because every day you get up, you're positive, you have your disciplines, you do your self-talk. What's your mindset like? Because life can slug you sometimes and punch you in the mouth.
Yeah. It really is that good, and maybe you have to go through the darkness before you get to the light, but I'm in the light now, and I want to help other people see it. It's not an act. Like, I really feel the way that I come off, and so my mindset is clearer than it's ever been. It's healthier, it's happier, it's more abundant than it's ever been, and so that's why I want to do the things that I do. And it's not that it's not that way for a lot of people, and so that's where the coaching and the mentoring comes in. I really get a genuine, just a really heartfelt passion about helping people feel better about their lives personally, and then helping them build whatever business it is that they might be in. So that's.
So do you have a lot of people coming to you asking for advice on building a business, building a brand, raising capital, how to invest?
Everything. I love it. So, that's why, that's one of the things Dave and I talk about often. It's that, whatever it is, just by virtue of our bandwidth and our reach, the network that we've established, and who we are as people,
yes,
there is a really great opportunity to do that for people.
Yeah. People trust you, and it's not an act like you said. You're the guy that I met back at the Combine, and we sat there for 2 hours just kind of chopping up about business, and you're the same guy on the couch today talking about.
I was out in Columbus recently, and I said to one of the younger guys who works with Dave, not everybody who shakes your hand will be your friend, and not everybody who yells at you will be your enemy. And it's important to remember that, right? Because trust.
That's huge.
Yeah. Trust is the most important thing. And I have to tell you, you can go back to the streets of Trenton and the guys I grew up with, and the people that I went through law school with, and the guys I do business with now. I really feel confident that every one of them would say the same thing about who I am in terms of trustworthiness and loyalty and devotion. And so hopefully that does shine through, because that's who I am.
That's so key. So beyond all these things, what do you do you do so much for other people? It's abundantly clear that you're a servant people.
Yeah.
What do you do for you?
The meditation, the mindfulness, that's for me. I do the jiu-jitsu. I love music and spending time with my wife. We bought a small motorhome. We sold our beach house, and we bought a small motorhome. So we travel around in that whenever I have a day or two, or she does here, and just get away and get back to nature. So I love to and I think it's so important to be in nature. So whether it's hiking or swimming or
so real, love it.
Yeah, I love to do that kind of stuff.
You're doing it, and I mean, like I said, when we crossed paths, I just felt like we'd be fast friends, and I love talking about your story, the ventures you're in, the people who trust you with their business is all I need to know about you. Know that you're a trustworthy guy.
Thank you.
So how can our family, our community, our followership follow your journey?
Yeah, you can follow me on social media, Mike Mumola, on all of the social media platforms. You can, if it's a legal issue, obviously reach out to me at my law firm.
Yes.
or anywhere. I give my cell phone out freely to anyone.
That's awesome.
And so however we can be of service, I'm happy to. The way that you could help is just by spreading the word, letting people know if they need help in whatever way we can provide it. Just let them know. That would be great. And by helping with the things that we're involved in, with Media Abundance, with Modi, with Man Cave Health. I'm also involved. Most recently, I was just asked to be honored at the end of this year for another charity called AIR, which stands for Attitudes in Reverse. It was created by a husband and wife in Princeton who lost their 16-year-old son to suicide. And just to, in short, the way that the school and the administration and some of the other people handled it showed that there needed to be more awareness and more help. So I'm involved in that now. So that's also something that we'll be talking a lot about in the future. And if, the one thing I can say is with Man Cave Health or with AIR or other things that you see we might be doing with any of the charities that we get involved in, please consider supporting them. Any of the charities that I'm involved in, everything goes to the charity.
That's beautiful.
It's not like some of them. It's really genuine.
Well, look, we haven't retained you officially, so I can't get any legal advice.
No problem.
But I'm sure I can get some life advice. So
Yeah.
give us one piece of life advice we can take away from today.
Yeah, so this is a piece of advice that an 80-year-old Italian immigrant gave to me when I was about 17 years old. I was sitting on the front porch of a house party, and I'd just broken up with a girlfriend at the time, and I thought she was the one. So here I am, 17 years old. I'd been going out with her for a long time. It had been like 4 months, right? That's a long time. That's a long time at 17 years old.
That's years.
Yeah, and so this has been my single favorite piece of advice ever, and I tell it to people whenever I can. And he said, "What's the matter, kid?" And I said, "Oh, Mike, I broke up with this girl, and I'm not sure if she was the one, and I'm not sure what to do now, and I'm just confused." And he said, "Let me tell you something. Let me give you the best piece of advice anybody's ever going to tell you." He said, "There are those in life who make your wagon heavy, and there are those in life who help you pull your wagon when it's heavy. Figure out who she was, and that decision will be made for you." And so I've applied that in every personal relationship I've been in every business relationship I've been in every relationship I come in contact with. I think about that wagon. I actually gave that speech at a wedding where I was the best man, and I surprised everybody and pulled a wagon out from under the table, the bright red one. And so that's my advice. There are those who will make your wagon heavy, and there are those who will help you pull your wagon when it's heavy. Figure out who the people around you are, and the decision will be made for you.
That's wonderful. I mean, that's 10 mics just dropped right there. So
these mics are too nice. We're not going to drop
nice.
these.
We'll drop them after you leave. But this has been great. I can't wait to hang out with you more.
Likewise.
And have you around us more, because I hope I can make your wagon lighter by helping you pull it.
Thank you.
Thanks, my friend. You have the hustle.
To follow our story, check us out at benanderson.365 on Instagram, and stay tuned for our next honored guest.